guys, Stoutmeister here, and today I'm going to be giving my 2 cents on the Jeff Bliss story that's been going viral the last few days, as well as giving my 2 cents on the education system in America, as well as my experience with the education system as well. Now, for those that are either living under rocks or living in Amish communities, Jeff Bliss is an 18-year-old sophomore who realized the value of education by being a high school dropout for a year, not giving a shit about the education system in general. And then going through his old dropout phase, he realized the value of education, so he goes back to high school to get his high school diploma. And in this particular story, he's in his history class, and the history teacher did not give the students enough time to study for the upcoming exams. And the teacher is telling Jeff to quit bitching, as he says in an interview, about how the students aren't getting enough time, how they're unmotivated. And Jeff is going off about how this teacher doesn't do enough to get the students excited to be educated, as you will see in this clip right here.
Hearing this freaking lady go off on kids because they don't freaking get this crap. If you would just get up and teach them instead of handing them a freaking packet, yo. There's kids in here who don't learn like that. They need to learn face to face. You're just getting mad because I'm pointing out the obvious, and you're
you're wasting my time.
No, I'm not wasting your time. I'm telling you what you need to do.
Get out.
You want kids to come into your class, you want them to get excited for this, you got to come in here, you got to make them excited. You want a kid to change and start doing better, you got to touch his freaking heart. Can't expect a kid to change if all you do is just tell him.
Bye.
You gotta take this job serious. This is the future of this nation. And when you come in here, like you did last time, and make a statement about, oh, this is my paycheck, indeed it is. But this is my country's future and my education.
I respect that. Can you go outside, please?
Score biz.
But there's a limit. When I'm not bitching, but simply making an observation.
Okay.
And now I will leave. You're welcome.
Good, bye.
And if you would like, I'll teach you a little more so you can actually learn how to teach a freaking class. Because since I got here, I've done nothing but read packets. So don't try and take credibility for teaching me jack.
Just go. Bye. Close the door.
Little baby.
Jeff, you have earned my utmost respect for what you did in the classroom. And I know you didn't know that you were filmed by that other student, but I'm really glad that the student filmed that. And for the student and Jeff watching this video, you have my respect. The filmer, you have my respect for filming. Jeff, you have my respect for making that statement. The one thing that I'm really agitated about is no other student stood up and said anything. No other student defended Jeff, at least from what I saw in that clip. But then again, in our education system nowadays, it's more about indoctrinating politically correct viewpoints, otherwise being shunned by society. Which is why I can see the rise of dropouts happening in the United States to some degree. But yeah, I really felt the fire that you had, being a dropout for a year and then coming back with this serious attitude. I applaud you, man. You have my respect. Now, as you saw in that clip that I showed, did you notice that that teacher just did not give a shit about what Jeff had to say? Oh, yeah, I respect what you said, but get the fuck out of my classroom. Okay, just get out. You can clearly tell she's only there for the paycheck and the benefits of being a teacher. And that is something that is very wrong about the education system in America nowadays. What the hell is that saying about our education system in America anyway? Are we saying that education can only be accessed if you go to these certain institutes? Are you more educated if you get into a certain amount of debt from going to a certain university in a nation with $1 trillion worth of student loan debt? Is it saying that you can't learn about critical thinking and other ways of thinking outside of the school institutes? What else are we saying about education as a whole? What else are we saying about education when we're suspending 7-year-olds for biting into a Pop-Tart that somehow looks like a gun What are we saying about the education system when we're suspending kids for playing with pencils, for God's sakes? These 7-year-olds playing with pencils, pretending they're guns, and they stop when the teacher tells them to stop, and they're still getting suspended. What are we really saying about the schooling institute in America as a whole? We care more about indoctrinating people with certain viewpoints. We're also showing that we care more about the school's reputation when we fire teachers for activities they do outside of their job that are non-harmful, like this one story about this model teacher that came out recently, and suspending students for what they do outside of school, and these teachers and students not harming anybody. These are just things that they do on their personal time. What all are we really saying about the education system? We really do not value education at all. We value social acceptance and government acceptance. That is all it comes down to. We don't give a shit about knowledge. We laugh at people that critically think way too much. We shun people with a different viewpoint than our own. No, I'm not saying that all teachers that teach are like this, but the ones that care more about their paycheck, the ones that don't want to make a difference in helping the students out, are part of the problem and why people don't want to learn in class, why these students are dropping out of school, why they feel like there's no point in it at all. But we can't just blame the teachers for it. What about the Board of Education? What about the government? What about all these people that are so focused on being politically correct that anybody else that dares question a teacher or school official or the government is shunned by that society? I feel really bad for the minority of teachers that actually want to practice teaching outside of the box, get students active, because a lot of these teachers either get fired for stupid reasons or are shunned by the school faculty for not thinking like the rest of the robots that are allowed to teach in that school. But yeah, the obvious answer to this whole thing is not being a dropout of school, because nowadays you need a diploma to get anywhere pretty much. The answer is getting new teachers and getting new school officials, but the problem is there's just too many fucking people that just don't really give a shit about the education system to do anything about it. And if you think public schools are bad with this whole thing, try Christian schools or private schools for that matter. And I'm speaking from personal experience here. I spent 9th grade to 12th grade year at a private Christian school, where a lot of the teachers were only there because they were somehow affiliated with the church that was connected to, or they knew somebody. My 9th grade science teacher throughout the first semester was just some single mother that was suing her ex-husband for God knows what reason in custody. She didn't know jack about science. She talked about how she did her hair in mayo. She pretty much gave us 100s if we answered Jesus on our tests. For example, if we had a multiple choice or short answer to something scientific, if we just put Jesus as an answer, that was an automatic 100, and we wouldn't really learn anything about science at all. My 12th grade year, the first 9 weeks in pre-calculus, a fucking football coach was the teacher that did not know a thing about pre-calculus. And throughout the rest of the year in pre-calculus, it was just some substitute teacher that didn't know jack about math. But if you were connected with the church somehow, you were on pretty much good terms right there. As long as you were a Christian also. That also helps right there. Now, I don't know if it's like that at all Christian institutes, but at the one that I went to and graduated from, it's like that. Another thing about those institutes is favoritism plays a big role in that. And I talked a little bit about my experiences at my school in my video where I'm talking about how this Christian school teacher got fired for being pregnant, which is another example, by the way, about how the education system just doesn't really value education at all. But yeah, favoritism plays a role there. If you're connected with the teacher or the pastor of that school/church, you didn't get into as much trouble, whereas if you weren't, so on and so forth. Just a bunch of bullshit. And so much indoctrination as well, to the point where they shelter you from the world. They tell you that the world is this very cruel place, that college is a very, very cruel place. It's non-Christian and it's secular, and you're just gonna be changed if you go outside of the world without these tools that were given to you. They just shelter you from the real world to the point where once you're out of the real world, you're crushed. You are fucking squashed like a fucking bug. I hear from so many students that I graduated with about how they're failing school because of how half the teachers helped cheat certain students. They helped pass just to not only help their favorite students, but they wanted to make the school grade point average look good. And I'm pretty sure this is a problem in the public school institute also, but that's just something that I'm observing right now. Getting off the subject of my experiences with the education system and back onto Jeff really quick, some of the comments I've seen where people found the way he approached talking with the teacher distasteful. And I saw one comment in particular where this person was talking about how he should have just talked with the teacher and the principal after school about how he felt about how this teacher was teaching the class. And to that person that made the comment, and to people that think that way, what would that have really done? That would have done nothing. He would have been on the watch list, so next time he screws up in their eyes, he's gonna be suspended or expelled from that school, or he's just gonna have a deuce hat on him for the rest of the year that he's going to that school. But yeah, just wanted to get that out there. I really don't want to drag this video on too long, so I'm going to end it right here, and I'm going to do more videos about my thoughts on the education system when more stories related to the education system come out in the near future. And to the teachers and the school officials that think the same way as that history teacher, as in not giving a shit about education, take note of this mug right here. It is a very sexy mug with very sexy text on there that says a giant cup of shut the fuck up. And today's episode of Official GATG was brought to you by Venom Mango. It is fucking awesome, and it's way better than Fruit Punch Venom, but still fucking awesome indeed. So cheers. That's some good mango right there. It's even better now considering the fact that I'm whoring this product out onto my YouTube videos, but hey, my content, don't like it, fuck off. Now, check out the video that I portrayed in this video in the description down below, as well as the interviews of Jeff in the description down below also. And stay tuned for more videos. Take care, see you later. Cue an epic outro music now.